So it just so happens that it is time for me to start getting ready to set up for yet another market. It's kind of interesting the way that I got signed up for this market because it was kind of unexpected. I was just looking online one night to see what was available through the end of the year in my area, like what types of festivals that they had that I could possibly set up at. And one of them that I came across was in my city, in my little town, Gahanna. And that just kind of felt like perfect for me if they were accepting vendors. I just saw that they were a festival. So what I did was I looked and went to the event website, and I didn't immediately see that they were accepting artists or vendors of any kind. I'm sure I just couldn't find the vendor application online myself. So I emailed the event coordinator. I found the email of that person and I emailed them. And the very next morning, this was late at night, I sent an email to the event coordinator just saying, hey, I just wanted to check in and see if you have available spots for artist vendors. I make prints and stickers and stuff. And the very next morning, she emailed me and said, this is a little strange. I was looking around for local sticker makers and sticker vendors in Gahanna, and you came up, and I looked and saw your Etsy page, and then you emailed me. And she said, yes, we would love to have you. Let me get you the details. Let me send you the application link. Woke up the next morning and saw that, and I was just very surprised. We were both actively seeking each other in different ways, and had I not reached out, I don't know if this connection would have happened. It felt very serendipitous. I'll put it that way. It felt serendipitous. They sent me the vendor application, and there were just a few things that I was concerned about right away. There was quite a bit of things that you kind of need, like you needed a tent, a fire extinguisher, insurance, an official business name, all these things which I have never had to deal with. So I waited a little bit. And when I didn't immediately apply to the market, she responded back in a couple days and said, hey, we just wanted to check on you and just see if you're still interested. We would love to get you set up. We would love to have you. If you have any questions, just let me know. So I let her know what my concerns were about the application, and she very quickly got back to me with, oh yeah, those things that you're concerned about, you don't need to worry about them. Those things don't apply to you. And I was just so excited. I was like, what? Okay, I will take that. I'll take that. There are things I have to do, like I'm gonna try and get a canopy and look into the fire extinguisher, but either way, those little details that I thought would be an issue were immediately taken away, and now it was just super easy. So I went ahead and applied, and I let her know. Immediately I got accepted into the market. So I'm so excited to let you know how this little journey goes. This is the biggest one that I will be doing. The biggest one that I've done so far. There will be thousands of people there. There will be lots of kids there. I feel like it's going to be high energy, and I'm just excited to prepare and to create pieces that I know people would be excited for. I did some brainstorming last night of different things that I think would be fun to create and that would be perfect. So I will update you when I create more, and I will just show you my progress in this vlog. Yeah, so thanks for coming along. So a good bit of time has passed since the last time I filmed, and time just got away from me. I don't know what happened, but here we are, and we are less than a week from the market now. And I have a lot of updates to tell you about. I guess the first one is I acquired a canopy. I wasn't required to have a canopy, but they said that it was a good thing if there was weather or anything happens. My mom happened to have one. She's let me borrow it, and that's awesome. So the market is on Sunday, and I have a list of things that I need to acquire. Right now it's Tuesday. 3 more things, I think. We got tent weights, which my mom said that the tent did not require tent weights. So I'm gonna email this person just to double check to be sure it's like 100% required, because I don't wanna buy something that I literally will use once and that I don't need. I don't wanna spend money on something I don't need. An extinguisher, a fire extinguisher. Kind of annoying, but at the same time, I wanna follow the rules, and it's just one of those annoying things about this market, but I understand because this one is gonna have thousands of people and it's gonna be really official, and they're gonna have the fire department inspect everyone's tents. So I need to acquire that. I found that I could get that at Home Depot. So I'm gonna go there and cross my fingers that I can get a cheap one. That I saw online, they had some that were 20 something, I believe, like real cheap. So that's what I am hoping for on that. And then I have on here wow. I have on here to fix the square reader. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I keep saying the word acquire, like that's a new, I don't ever say that, but this thing right here, I got this thing that I was looking for last time and it was not right. I ordered this online and it works. It attaches to my phone. And then I was having issues with it not charging my card. So I tried it again and it worked. So I'm hoping that this will be not a burden and not having to swipe 20 times, but I am assuming that people will have to swipe a lot because those things can be kind of finicky, but I'm just gonna deal with it. We will have other options. People can Venmo me, they can pay cash, they can maybe Cash App, we'll see. And as far as art goes, the last 3 weeks have been a blur, but I had it in mind, a goal in mind to create a piece that would be perfect for this market and would involve kind of holiday stuff, but not too holiday to where it's like cookie cutter, where it's like, oh, I could find this on a Hallmark card or I could find this somewhere else. Like I didn't want it to have that, like, you know, that sickly Christmas, like this is Christmas vomit. I wanted to avoid Christmas vomit, and I wanted it to be more like seasonal, Yule, nature inspired, just stuff. It's more about the season changing and celebrating that than about just elves and candy canes and like that kind of stuff. Because I just think there's so much of that, and I really like the kinds of art that have a lot of botanical art, has just like a lot of different things kind of clustered in the same area into a print, and I think that those are so cool looking. So that's something that I wanted to kind of accomplish with this. I wanted it to have that feel while still being holiday-ish, but I'll show you what I did. I did this over 2 days. I started this on Sunday and I finished this up Monday at 4 a.m. So I will say I was really tired this weekend because I went to my friend's wedding. So I got a late start on Sunday, which kind of put me a little bit behind. But so I really had to push myself on Monday and stay up as late as I needed to get this finished because I set a goal, and one of the biggest motivators for me is to have a market or something to work towards and to set a deadline for myself. And even when I do have that, sometimes I procrastinate, not meaning to, but sometimes I still do. And no matter what though, I get it done. No matter how late I have to stay up, I do. So here it is. Yeah, so I did a lot of editing because the print is gonna look a lot different. Not a lot different, but it's going to have, it has a kind of beigey background, kind of parchment-y color, and it's going to be printed on this paper that has a nice texture, like almost a watercolor paper texture, so I'm really excited for that. So right now, why is my hand shaking? I'm so hungry. So right now, I am finishing up the editing and I'm going to send it to the printer. The edits look great, but I will wait until those actually get printed to show you what they look like. But, however, I just realized, so since it's been so long since I've actually checked in, I believe I did 2 paintings since the last time I spoke to you. Okay, so I guess it's been 3 weeks and I've done 2 paintings, which I want to say that's pretty good for, I am so tired right now because I've been pushing myself so hard, so I'm sorry if I sound just out of it and not very coherent, but that is what I'm working with right now. I have this painting that I just showed you, and then I have one that I did before that, also since the last time that I talked to you, and that is this one right here. So this one is Misty Morning is what I'm calling it, and it speaks for itself, I think. It's just kind of inspired by the pond that's like right around my apartments. It has mushrooms that are not quite this beautiful, but there's mushrooms around there, there's wildflowers, just little weeds and stuff, and a frog. Frogs are all over and they make very loud sounds, and I was inspired by that. And I wanted the background to be kind of foggy, and I just love that time of day when everything is just really foggy and ethereal and otherworldly. So I'm making prints out of this one, I'm making prints out of this one, and then of course I'm going to have my Magic of the Seasons print as well. Those are going to be my 3 big things for this market. And then on top of that, I'm going to just like put together some of my paintings that have been framed and are nice, and I just kind of want to get rid of them. And if somebody would buy an original painting, I'll give them the opportunity to do that at, I would say, a pretty good price for an original painting. When my prints come in, I'll show you those as well. But tonight, it's 9 p.m. and I'm about to make a chili. My higher self kicked in and was like, make a chili. Don't just get something quick. Make something that you're gonna be able to have for a few days. I have something to update you on. It is not important and it is not related to anything at all that I've been doing. It's about peanut butter. And I'm very frustrated because every time I go to buy peanut butter, I don't read it, so it's my fault. But I always get crunchy, and I want crunchy. I like crunchy, but like it's so frustrating that I get crunchy every time. And I don't think I can dip that into my chili. I will do it because I have an entire giant thing of crunchy peanut butter. But no, I was looking for creamy. I already have crunchy peanut butter and I wanted creamy peanut butter. And so now I have like a shit ton more. I don't know why something as dumb as that frustrates me so much, because you just want something in the exact right way and you have the opportunity to get it in the exact way that you wanted it and you didn't. Anyways, that's my update. It just dawned on me that you may be saying, what do you mean you need peanut butter for your chili? And if you are from the part of Ohio that I'm from, you probably make peanut butter sandwiches and dip that into your chili. Or possibly break little pieces, put them in the chili, eat them up with a spoon. It's a good way to go. I highly suggest it. I can feel you judging me and just stop. Like, if you have not had it, I can just feel the judgment, and it's probably because you haven't had it, but do it. Go do it. Make peanut butter sandwiches. Make a spicy chili. I will say it's better if the chili is spicy. The spicier, the better. And make peanut butter sandwiches and dip them into your chili. And if someone gives you shit about it, then make them eat it. because they're wrong, because it's so good. So yeah, stop judging me, and that's all about that. It's Thursday and I got a fire extinguisher. Boom. Home Depot had this for $25, so I'm very happy about that. I also made a sticker sheet. Let me show you. And I'm really excited about it. I think it looks really cute. Yeah. I think that it printed out nicely. I feel like the colors are fairly accurate. It might be a little bit lighter, but I still think that it looks really good. Printed on glossy paper, so I just need to print a bunch more of these. And I'm also going to print some stickers from my other painting, the Magic of the Seasons painting. That is basically what I'm going to be doing tonight, is just printing a bunch more stickers. I think I'm going to put a podcast on and just like let that go. I'm making some apple cider. I finally got the stuff. I couldn't find mulling spices at Kroger. I couldn't find like that little pack that has all the spices together. So I went to a different place. I went to Meijer, and I just got the main ones. I got this allspice, whole allspice. I got whole cloves, and I got some cinnamon sticks that are actually quite a bit and pretty big. I'm gonna throw all that in there, and I've just really been wanting like a spicy cider. Heating it up and putting the spices in is the way to go. I didn't even get like apples to throw in there or anything. I'm being very lazy about it. I'm just gonna heat that up and go from there. So we have one day until the market. The market is tomorrow, and it's Saturday. And I went out earlier and got tent weights and this thing that is not a wagon or a dolly or a cart. Well, I guess it is kind of a cart. I'll show you what it is. Here's what it is. Utility shopping cart. I thought that this would be helpful. I'm kind of questioning like what all is going to be able to fit into it, because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, well, I've got this fold table, and I'm like not sure if that's going to fit in there along with that big canopy. So I am just really grateful that I'm having help tomorrow. I decided to package up some prints ahead of time. I've got 10 of these, and I have a business card in there already, so it's really ready to go. So I, like, the first few people who buy any of these things, it'll be super easy for me. Yeah, so I got 5 of each of these, 10 of these. I'm considering bringing some of these too, just for fun, just for something different. And I have about 20 of these sticker sheets. These are so cute. I really like them. So I need to make more of the die cuts and more of these, I believe. It's closing in, and I just feel like I can't believe how quickly that all came together and how quickly this market is coming. This just time has flown so fast this last week. I just can't believe that a week ago I was working on a painting, this painting for this holiday print. This had not even been painted. It hadn't even been started a week ago. And I quickly made it, quickly got prints. That's wild. So I don't think I mentioned either. I don't know if I've shown you, I can't remember if I've shown you the prints that I got. So they look really, really nice and vibrant. There's that one. Here is this one. It has a linen texture to it. Originally, they said that we were gonna have kind of like watercolory, but they didn't have that stock in, which I was completely fine with because I love linen texture. It's really nice to touch and it's really nice. It looks really nice, so completely fine. It goes really great with this style. I just wanted to give you an update. So it's been 4 days since the market now. The market was on Sunday and it's now Thursday. So I just wanted to give a quick recap on my whole experience with the market. I got some tea. It's not crazy caffeinated, but it's something to get me through so I can really get these brain cells moving around, because since the market I have been really tired. But I'll get there. I just want to kind of take you through the experience and talk about each little step and what my thoughts were on it. I think I mentioned this earlier, but this is the biggest market that I've ever been a part of, and I'm really grateful that I got to be in it. I guess I'll start by telling you about the day of the market. Okay, I guess I'll take it back even further. The night before the market, I was scrambling, trying to get everything together and make sure that I had everything, and it was such a blur. The week leading up to it was an absolute blur, so much so that I almost forgot a lot of times to turn on the camera and film what exactly it was that I was preparing. A week away from the market, I started on a brand new piece that I wanted to include in the market. So there is, preparing my print piece that I got done. That was kind of Monday through Wednesday of getting it finished up, getting it edited, getting it sent to the print. And then Thursday on was me making as many stickers as I possibly could to get ready for the market. And that summarizes what I was up to leading up to the market this time. The day of the market was everything is very fast-paced when you're doing a market. On that day, usually pretty much the entire day is focused on that. There's nothing else that you're really going to get done that day. So I'll just let you know that. I needed to go and get cash from an ATM to make sure that I had cash to give back to people for cash sales. So I would have 5s and 10s and 1s and whatnot. So I went to the ATM and immediately I thought that it would lead me to the option of getting different bill sizes, and then it didn't, and it just spit out the money that I got out. So I had to go back around and do it the right way. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get this done. Because it was right close to when the market was ready to set up. It was an hour before I needed to actually be there. So I was so I got a bunch of 1s and a bunch of 10s, and they didn't offer 5s, which didn't end up being a big deal. So I got my cash. I ended up grabbing a breakfast sandwich on the way to get my cash because I knew that it would probably be a long time before I would eat again and that it would be probably evening, which it was. So that was a good call for me. I got a breakfast sandwich and I drank a coffee and I got my cash out. Came back here to take her on one last little stroll, take Summer on one last little stroll before the market, and headed out to the market. My car was already loaded up at that point, and around 12:30 I headed out for I needed to be there at 12:45. So at 12:30 I headed out and I got there at 12:45, and the map that they had was very easy to read and descriptive, but still I found it hard to find the place that I needed to enter through, because even the street that I was supposed to go enter the market to was blocked off, and that is what threw me off. After a while I had to call the lady and to just kind of like have her tell me what street to go on, and that went great. And then I was actually able to park my car right in front of where I would be setting up, right there. So all I had to do was just take everything out of my car and just have it right there. And that was a really good thing on the planner's part, I feel. That was a really good detail that she had, so that it was very stress-free for all the vendors. Like, all they had to do was just roll up and be where they needed to be and then move their cars. But still, like, kind of on the day of, no matter how seamless things actually go, I feel like you just feel frantic. Even when things are going great and everything's working out just fine, you're like, oh, why didn't this just, or my cash thing, I was like, why didn't the money just come out immediately? Why do I have to problem solve? And like, when I couldn't figure out how to get into the festival, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, where do I go in? And then calling her, and then whenever I had to park my car, I was just like, I could barely find a spot because it was so busy there. So frantic, it really feels frantic, but really just try not to worry too much in the moment, because those things work themselves out and you will figure it out. No matter how stressful it feels at the time, just one step at a time, problem solve what it is you need to do next, and you'll figure it out. It's really not hard when it's broken down into small steps. My friends came and they helped me set up my tent. And my tent, I thought that would take so much longer, but with like 2 other people, that was like a piece of cake. And especially like one of my friends who he automatically knew how to do everything, and he was just instructing us on how to get the tent set up. So I greatly appreciate the help that I had from my friends. Yeah, I think it honestly took like half an hour to set up everything, and at that point I had like an hour and a half to just do whatever before the market started. I got to know the tent next to me. Those people were really cool. They were just really friendly, and that's what you want to have at a market. Just like the people next to you, if you can talk to them, and if either of you need anything, it's really cool to have somebody who you can trust. The people next to me got me coffee, and I was just like, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. Like, I tried to pay for it, but they wouldn't let me pay for it. So it was really cool. That experience was really nice. So during the market, when the market started, people slowly trickled in, and it started off pretty slow. There was a steady, slow stream of people, and it took me a long time to get my first sale. Sometimes if there's not a lot going on and you're a vendor who's kind of there by themselves and you don't have somebody to banter with at your booth, it will feel like a little bit like, it'll feel like forever in between sales, or in between somebody coming up to your booth and talking to you. I started noticing a lot of people going into the booth next to mine and buying their t-shirts, and I was like, that's amazing, great for them. And they weren't really going to my booth. They mostly were just there for like the apparel and the t-shirts and stuff. And after a while of just like seeing that happen and being like, wow, like no one's coming up to me. I started working on my mindset and I started thinking of it a little bit differently because I thought, man, no one's really coming up here. Is it something that I'm doing? Do I look intimidating? Does this look boring? Is it not eye-catching enough? Am I standing the right way? All these like kind of things that come into your head when you're really questioning what the cause could be of it. And I landed on, when you do a market, you've done everything that you possibly can do to prepare, and you have done all the work. And your job at the market is not to try and attract people to your booth and try to get people to come to you and to get people to buy stuff. That's not what you're trying to do. I think that the best way to approach it is to look at it as you're making connections with people, and that's all that you really should be doing. You should be trying to really just connect with people and see how they're doing, and almost act as if you are approaching somebody randomly on the street and just introducing yourself to them and just being like, how are you doing? How's your day? And that's pretty much it. Like, you're not trying to be like, buy this, buy that. Like, just, not that I ever did, but like, you don't have to have that kind of pressure on yourself to be like, I'm doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You just have to think of it in those terms, because if somebody is going to buy something, they're going to buy something, and nothing that you do or say would sway them otherwise. And if they're not going to buy something, then their mind is already set on not buying something. There's nothing that you could do or should do to try and convince somebody to buy something. It's really just, you're kind of just there to build a community, and if anybody is interested in buying something, then they are very welcome to, but you're there to let them know who you are and to say hello, and that's really it. And when I adopted that mindset, I started having a lot of fun. I started having a lot more fun with the market. This wasn't even far into it when I started thinking this way, and I just started going like, you know what, I could make some friends here. I could just like hang out with people that are similar to me and or have just similar interests as me, and it made it really fun. Anyways, that's one of the big things that I wanted to talk about, of things that I thought about during the market. This is another baby. Another baby. This one's asleep. Oh my goodness. Okay. I just didn't expect there to be fireworks and there to be fire in front of my tent. And the fact that I needed a fire extinguisher really started to make a lot more sense once that started happening. This festival started out really chill and really slow, and then more and more people started rolling in, and it got really crowded. People were like they were under my tent. I had a very small space around me. My tent wasn't even mine. People were in it. So that's something you might want to be aware of if you're doing a pretty big event and you have a tent set up. People might just take shelter under your tent, and they might form a line under your tent going to the food truck next to you. So I made sure to keep all of my things kind of huddled on close to where I was. Yeah, it ended up being really high energy. People were screaming, children were screaming because there was fire and they love fire. It just all made sense why I needed that fire extinguisher. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad that I have this here. You never know what could happen. My friends came to support me and to buy some things and look around at the market. And that was awesome. I knew that they would be coming, or so I thought they would be coming, but when they arrived, it was really nice to have their support and just to have people to like talk to and chill with under my tent with me. It was really nice to see how much support I have from all of my friends and family. It just really illuminated how much support I really have, and I'm so grateful for that. So look at this. Oh. He's like, what? Look at what? Look at what? He had his head all rolled back. Oh, he's doing it again. There you go. Anyways, I got into conversations with random people about my art and about random interests, and a lot of people were commenting on my frog painting and how they loved it so much. And 2 people asked me if I did tattoo designs, which I found really interesting. Something about my artwork must really bring up that question for people, because one of my friends had me do a tattoo design for him, and then also somebody said, looking at my frog painting, they said, like, I want something like that. I want that on me. And I was just like, oh, that's interesting that that's the thing that really attracts people to want a tattoo design from me. So that was fun feedback. I thought that was good feedback. And people complimenting me and saying, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'll take a business card and I'll want to get something later. People just being so nice about like complimenting me and complimenting my skills. It was just like really cool. I really didn't have any bad experiences. You do have to watch out for children, because unattended children are crazy and they will do whatever the hell they want. One of them stole one of my stickers. So really, I mean, there's nothing I could have done about that, and it was not a big deal to me, but at the same time, yeah, like if you have an event where there's a lot of unattended children, they might just like steal something from your booth and just like walk away with it. So you might want to keep an eye on your stuff. But there was only like 2 or 3 unattended children doing things that were a little bit annoying. Like one of them would just like walk up to my booth and they would start shuffling all my stickers around and just like shuffling everything around on my booth. And you know, at that point, I didn't know what to do. So I was really lucky that their parent found them and was like, stop doing that, get over here. Eventually they did, but they were there for quite a while, just doing whatever the heck they wanted. One little girl really, really wanted a sticker for like 2 hours and was kind of coming back to my booth and eyeing them and being like, saying she really wanted one. And finally her mom brought out $2 for her to get a couple stickers, and she was like thrilled. And I was so happy for her because it seemed like it made her day. It's hard to keep track of how much I made, because when you have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and cash, it's kind of hard to like get it all added up and decide how much it all amounted to. But I counted up my cash sales and it seemed like I made at least like $75 in cash. Overall, like I didn't make a giant profit by any means. A lot of people, like when you do these markets, it's really important to know that the amount of effort that you put into the market is not going to equal what you get out of it usually right up front at the first few markets that you go to. This is only my 3rd market that I've ever done, and I kind of didn't put any expectations on my experience, and I just don't count anything as a failure. And I think that's really the best way to go about these types of things, is just like knowing that whatever happens was not a failure and that you learned many things throughout the way. I just think thinking of it in that way is really helpful for your mindset and really helpful for the longevity of you being able to do these things. Because I've learned so much in these 3 markets, and this was my most successful one. From the 2 that I did before this, I definitely didn't make near $75. So just know that even if it doesn't feel that way, you are definitely learning a lot and you're definitely getting better with each market. And it's really about finding your people who are in the market and in the market for and need and want to buy your artwork. It's not a matter of your skill level, of anything having to do with the way that your stuff is arranged. Usually has to do with the right exposure at the right time, honestly, because anything can be sold to the right person. Any piece of art can be sold to the person who is right for it. And is a matter of really trial and error. And I'm really excited to. Oh my gosh, my dog is just like really asleep, and she is like making crazy sounds. Oh my goodness. It's okay. It's okay. Goodness, she gets really deep sleep. Continuously going around and just showing your art to the world and seeing what sticks. And that's all it is. It's really just kind of playing the long game and having many different experiences, comparing them all, seeing what works best for you, what types of markets people really love to buy your stuff at, and what types of markets maybe are just not worth your time. And when you do that, I think that you're just gonna get better and better. That's just how it works. Your mindset is what's gonna determine if you felt like it was successful or not. And if you see everything as a learning experience, then it's gonna be successful no matter what. And if you make connections with people, that's a great thing in general. Like outside of a business, outside of everything, making connections is kind of what life is about, but it's also really great for your business. And so just think of those things as opportunities of, well, you know, I didn't make many sales this time, but I gave away lots of business cards and I had really great conversations with people. Like whenever I've gone to markets before where I was a customer, I remember conversations I had with people and the things that we talked about. So think of it that way. Now, I want to talk about after the market. So the market ended on Sunday at 7 p.m. is pretty much 100% done at 7 p.m. So I packed up my car and got ready to go. My friends helped me pack up, and then I went home and I immediately knew that I was going to order a pizza because I had again stayed up until like 3 a.m. the night before. And I was so exhausted. I felt like, you know, the kind of exhaustion where you feel a little bit high or a little bit drunk. That's how tired I was because of the whole week beforehand of staying up until 3 a.m. doing my art, staying up until 3 a.m. getting all of the finishing touches edited properly, and you know, getting up the next day and going hard to try and get everything done. That's something that I'm trying to work on, is just getting proper sleep and getting a proper schedule, planning ahead of time so I'm not actually creating a piece right a week up until the market. Because those things really exhaust you, and you may not feel that exhaustion until it's over, but when it's over, you will collapse. You will just need a lot of sleep and a lot of food. And that's what I did. I got pizza. I got a whole large pizza that I smashed in 2 days. I could have smashed it in 1 day if I really wanted to, because I ate half a pizza in that one night and I was just like, I could keep going. Like, I feel full enough, but like honestly, I don't feel stuffed. I could keep going. And then I just was like, no, let's finish, you know, the other half later. And anyways, yeah, I feasted like crazy, and I laid around and slept a lot. I slept in a lot the Monday and Tuesday after the market. All I did was just eat and watch Ghost Hunters and sleep. And just that's all I did. And it was very relaxing and it was really nice. But after those 2 days, I was tired of just doing nothing. But it takes a long time to recover from sleep debt. It takes a long time to like completely, especially in your 30s, I feel, get back on track after nights and nights of built up sleep debt. And I just needed my week this week to really not be busy. there are a few things that I think I would change for the next market. The first thing is, if you get prints, don't get a bunch. Really, 5 or 6 prints of each design is all you need, and then you can kind of adjust from there depending on how things do, and you'll know what's popular and what's not as popular. So that's something I will change for next time. I'll get less prints. I will try my best to, the week leading up to the market, continue to get to bed at a decent time, to continue to take care of myself and not rack up a bunch of sleep debt. Maybe make sure that you have something to kind of weigh your stuff down if you're at an outdoor market, because I always like have things flying away. With this one I didn't have as much flying away, but like they were wanting to fly away, and it's just, I think that's always going to be an annoyance at an outdoor market. So try your best to problem solve, you know, having a weight or having something like that. I had crystals on top of my prints and they worked pretty okay, but something to consider. But honestly, there's not a lot that I would change other than trying to kind of get up earlier, go to bed earlier leading up to it, so that you're 100% energized and ready the day of, and that you don't feel exhausted and the need to eat an entire pizza and sleep for 12 plus hours after the market. And that's it. I think that's my takeaways, and I think that's pretty much sums up the market. And I bet if you counted how many times I said the word market in this video, it would be really obnoxious and annoying. Probably. I hope that you got something out of this, and especially if you're planning on doing some type of market, that there's something that you could take away from this. And yeah, I wish you luck with any future things that you do with your art, whether that be taking it to a festival or a holiday thing or a market or whatever. Good luck with that, and I hope you make amazing sales, and I hope that you have fun. The number one thing is to have fun. I think that sounds really corny and really overrated, but just think about, with all things in life, having fun is like the best part. Like, if you're not having fun, then everything from that happens is just going to be a little bit less good. Like, if you can just focus on having fun, things will fall into place and you'll really get a lot out of the experience. And that's all I have. And I will talk to you in another video. Goodbye.